Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream, all based on the divination card that's drawn in the morning. It's information for our highest good and the energy that's flowing today that's most important for us to know about. And what I love about it is it sparks a spiritual conversation with those that are in the live chat, and that's my favorite part. So welcome. Today is Saturday. Yay, Saturday, right? April 20th. Yeah, April 20th. And, yesterday here in Toma, Wisconsin, where I live, was a gorgeous day, and we have another one. Blue skies, sunny out, and it's 65 degrees. Yay! 65 degrees. Yeah, and the whole neighborhood is it's everybody's busy. Everybody's outside doing something, raking or, working with their lawn somehow, and you can hear the kids in the neighborhood laughing, and it's a good day. It's a good day in the neighborhood. You never get a chance to really say that too often, right? So before we start going much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share and like the live stream. And, I did something kind of silly today. I forgot my phone. I did bring my iPad. Because I wanted to take a couple pictures of things that are up here at the Academy. And so I'm just using my iPad to share. And we're going to send it over to my news feed. And just to say, hi, friends. And just letting them know that I'm live streaming. All of my quick keys are on my phone. So this is going to take me just a little bit longer because I kind of have to spell things out just a little bit. And it's just asking them to please join us. There we go. I'm going to post that. And then I'm going to share it over to one of the closed groups too. And get it to a group. Going over to the network. And just saying, hi, peeps. I'm live streaming. And then asking them to join. There we go. There, got that done. And it's not very often that I get to use my iPad for this, Yeah. Okay. So let's see who's in the chat. And Julie's here. Hello, Julie Shumway Hill. It's good to see you. It's good to see you in the chat. And so Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. And thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. And Rochelle, it's beautiful and sunny, 64 degrees. So very similar to what we have. Thank you, Julie, for sharing and liking. I love you guys for doing that. I say it almost every day. I ask you guys, to share and like, and even if you're watching the recorded version of this, is to please like and share, because I see it as a light worker or energy worker civic duty, right? If you find a video or a post, information that you think is helpful or you feel that is helpful, is to share it, because there's others out there looking, they're seeking for information. Some people are seeking for a community to belong to, right? Yeah. And so when we share, they can find us a little bit easier. So thank you for doing the sharing. I appreciate it. Let me show my name here. Some people may not know who I am. And Rob's here. He says, but there's no joy in Mudville. Well, I don't know about that. Mom's watching the Brewers play right now. She's not happy with that team at the moment because they've lost, I think, twice consecutive. I don't know. I don't watch, and so I get to hear her about it. So she's not happy with them. She thinks they're something about their manager. She thinks it's his fault. So I don't know. It keeps her busy, right? And she's been watching baseball since she was just a kid. She used to play. She used to play softball, and my grandpa, her dad, my Misha, he played ball, and he had an invitation to try out for I think it was the White Sox down in Chicago, and yeah, when he was a very young man, and his dad, my great grandfather, talked him out of it. Yeah, I think something about pitching. But anyway, so because of my grandfather being so in love with the game of baseball, most of his children were too, and they grew up listening to the game on the radio. Rob says, here in Hockeytown, Steve Y is returning next season as GM. Really? I'll have to tell Mom that. I'll share that with her because she knows about Steve Young, and she does follow hockey a little bit. The one that she doesn't follow is soccer. She doesn't watch. She watches on occasion, I should say that. Rochelle says, I miss playing softball and downhill skiing. Yeah. Yeah, I used to play softball too. It was fun. I was, what position did I play? Shortstop. I played shortstop for a long time. Yeah. I gave my bat and my ball to one of my nephews when I stopped playing. Yeah. It's always good when you can shock the little guys, and he's like, no, Auntie can't play. She's a girl. It's like, what are you talking about? So having somebody to pitch to me and hitting a home run, it's like their jaws drop open. And it's like, I've been playing since I was, I don't know, 7, something like that, 6. And so I can still hear my older brother yelling at us when we'd miss a ball. Where does your glove start? On the ground. Where does it start? On the ground. Yeah, he was one of our early coaches. Oh my gosh. Those are the memories. Those are the days, right? It doesn't I could be driving someplace and I see a big open field and I'll think, oh my God, that would be a great field to play softball in or to play a game in. When we would get together as the whole family, my cousins and aunts and my uncles, and we'd meet at my grandparents' house. A lot of times, it would take a while for us to get together to get a game going. But we'd have enough people to have 2 teams and sometimes 3, because then when you'd lose, then the next team would play the winner, right? And playing and getting permission from the farmer next door if we could use his back field to play. And it was fun. Haven't thought of that in a long time. Really long time. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share that first card with you guys. What I should probably do is let people know, for those people who may not know which deck we're using. We are using the Sacred Path cards from Jamie Sams. Yeah, Sacred Path cards with Jamie Sams. And these cards were copyrighted, published in 1990. Right. And so that pulling the information together for the cards and the artwork and all of that takes a while. And so she probably was working on it in the late 80s, maybe 88, 89, and then putting it into publication in 1990. And so the information is still relevant. It's still really good as the base, right? As the base. And what I'm finding is because we live in a much different energy field than when the cards were published, is looking at the more expanded, energetic, expanded information coming from them as well. So it's always fun to, because you know what one of the things it does do is it stretches our intuition, our ability, right? And so we're learning so much more about ourselves and our intuition as we go through the cards, and that I think is very beneficial. Yeah. Rob says, as long as it's a full one. Okay. I think you're probably commenting on something that I said or someone said a while ago, so I missed the connection. As long as it's a full one. A full deck? A full deck. I don't know. A full team. A full deck. See, I guessed. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Oh, thank you, Marie. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. And I need to thank Marie for something else. I don't know if you guys heard a comment, I think it was a few days ago, I made to Marie. Marie contacted me and because she wanted to subscribe to the magazine. And thank you so much, Marie, for that too. But the subscription button wasn't working. And so she says, how do I do this? Thought she was doing something wrong and she wasn't. So I did a little investigation and found out that when our app was updated, and this was a while ago, when our app was updated, one of the boxes didn't get checked, and without checking that box, the subscriptions don't appear, or they don't work. We'll just say that. And so I went in and all I had to do was check a box. So it wasn't hard at all, Marie. The harder part was sitting down and actually just making time to do it. That was the harder part. And so I would have never known it wasn't checked. And so thank you, Marie, for contacting me and asking me that question. And so so those people who have been wanting to maybe take out a 3 or 6 month or annual subscription, and you thought, oh, I must have done something wrong, or you get frustrated, right? That would have been me getting frustrated with it. It's pretty simple, and it's going to get even more simple. In another, probably, I have to actually find time to get to it. We have the capability to be able to have a one tap, it's called, button on our website. And when we put that on our website, you'll be able to purchase the magazine with just one tap instead of going through, I don't know how many steps. I think it's like 3 or 4 steps with iTunes and Google. It's all connected still to iTunes and Google. It just makes it a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler. Yeah. So that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to be doing a little bit of a launch for that, because that is a big change, and making time for the update on the website, right? So look for that. Look for that. It's going to make it so much easier. All right. So let's get to the cards. This is the first card. Arrow. Arrow. It's about truth as protection. Truth as protection. And I kind of like this this image. I was thinking that this would really look cool on a drum head, wouldn't it? Yeah. Now, some people may not know this about the bow and arrow. The bow and arrow. The arrow is, as you would imagine, is the male energy, right? And the bow is the female energy. And so the bow flies very straight. Very seldom does it, whatever it's pointed at is what it's going to go toward, right? Even if the person who's aiming it is the one that is kind of off the target a bit, the arrow is still going to follow your line of sight. There's some slight deviation with wind, of course, but generally speaking, the arrow goes straight to what it's pointed at. And so that's one of the reasons, other than being really straight, the arrow itself, and it penetrates, right, carries the male energy. And the bow, when not in use, is pretty much a straight stick in those days, the long bow. And then when you bend it to hook the string to the top of it, it's flexible enough that it's not going to break. And that is the female. That flexibility and with the curve. And so when you have them both together, you have balance between the male and the female. And so they're working together. And one would even say that the female actually launches the male. The female energy launches the male energy. Right? So when they have to work together in order to have any kind of success in hitting the target, whatever that target is. Yeah. I think that's fascinating. And I think it's a great metaphor for how our energy within ourselves, okay, because we carry both male and female energy, that when we're balanced in our energy, is that it's much easier to reach our goals. Yeah. And if you take it for a partnership, whether you're male or female, and you have your partner, your significant other, to bring in the balance of that energy as well, and you work as a team. And life is so much easier and much more enjoyable when you work as a team. Now, it doesn't always mean that you get along as that team, because you always have that, because we're two-leggeds, you're always working on that power struggle thing, and communication, right? But generally speaking, if you're stable, balanced, grounded, you make a really good team. And when you're balanced, grounded, you make within yourself a really good team between the male and the female, because you're working together. Your energies are working together really well in balance, right? That's just about the arrow and the bow. But what about that truth thing, right? Now, see, I'm a Sagittarian, right? Triple. And so our astrology sign is the Archer. And with that comes truth to the point where it's kind of painful. Yeah, you have to learn how to temper that. That's part of the medicine to carry that. But what Jamie Sam says about the arrow is really it's really interesting. But first, here's her poem. The Arrow. Warrior clan, your arrows fly straight and true. Bold of heart, proven faith, protection lives through you. She says that the warrior clans of Native America were the protection of the people. The spirit of the warrior clan is represented by the arrow. The arrow is straight and true, quick and deadly if aimed to kill. The braves earned their right to be called by that name through many tests of leadership and agility. Courage was the main ingredient in making of a warrior, but it had to be tempered with truth, common sense, physical prowess, integrity, and connection to spirit before the right to be warrior clan was earned. And so, they went through a lot of training and a lot of testing real life testing many times, to the point where the elders were the ones that were watching them, right? And who became a member of what society, right? What group? Um, yeah, and so it was very structured in a way, very structured. All right. And she goes on to say that the arrow was quick to protect and quick to act in crisis, straight and true, weighing all future possibilities. Each chief aimed for the highest good and remained totally responsible for the actions of each decision he made. And then she talks about the bow of beauty was a joyful expression with which he viewed his tasks of leadership. The bow of beauty was said to have been made of the finest gold, which represented the golden light of the grandfather's sun, and was inlaid with pearls for the female energy. And so it was a balance between the two. That's one of the stories about the bow and the arrow. She goes on to say that, remember that the arrow's path is straight and narrow, and that its target is the heart. At the heart of every warrior is the compassion of the chief and the legacy of leadership for the good of all people. All races of the Earth Mother depend on the rainbow warriors of the world to reform the warrior brotherhood in order to accomplish the fulfillment of the fifth world of peace. For this to occur, we must use the teachings of the arrow, that is usually total truth, as our weapons and our protection. So total truth as our weapons and our protection. So it's all about truth. It's all about truth. And one of the things that that she talks about here was about courage, right? And generally speaking, if a warrior is going to be using his bow and arrow to protect, chances are that they're actually aiming at the opponent's heart, right? Okay. So if we can take that as that symbolism or that metaphor, and we add the courage to it, right? And this I learned from Julie Hedges, is that because she was sharing about the word courage. And from a Latin derivative, it means about speaking your truth from your heart. Speaking your truth from your heart. And so if the arrow is being shot, and behind it is courage, and you're speaking from your heart, the arrow is the truth, right? Yeah. And it goes to the target, no matter if the sender is a little bit off target, that the arrow is going to go where the sender is looking, where they're aiming, right? So words do matter, don't they? Words do matter. So do thoughts. And so if you're speaking your truth, and you know that it's going straight to the heart of the other person, and you're having the courage to speak your truth, is to speak your truth, but I think to do it with as much kindness as you can, even if it's in one of those moments, right, where you're upset or you're angry. Yeah, because those words the energy of those words are going to be out there for a long time. And as my mom would tell me, she says, sometimes apologies as sorry just isn't enough. It isn't enough, because you really hurt that other person with your words and your thoughts. Yeah. And I'm not saying we shouldn't speak our truth. I think that we should. But I think we should be tempered with a dose of kindness in there. Because I think we can still get our point across and still be kind. There's no reason to be mean, right? To be sarcastic and, all of that, right? So Jamie Sams goes on to say that if the arrow has found its target in your cards today, you're being asked to find the truth of your present situation. You can protect yourself from uncomfortable situations by using the truth as protection. It does not matter what others think of you. You know the truth. When you honor that truth, you cannot be hurt by the lies of others. Arrow also speaks of the ideas of a brotherhood. This is to say that you must armor yourself with the good intent and truthfulness of those you wish to associate with. Drop those who would no longer honor your path or truth. Remember, Arrow is straight and always says, stay on the sacred path. Stay on the sacred path. So we have two messages there. We have one that says that you may be in a situation where you haven't exactly been truthful to yourself, and to take a look at that and sense what your truth is. Okay. And so, is there a difference between your truth and a divine truth? Sometimes. I think that a divine truth can be experienced even with ourselves, only if we're willing to be totally honest with ourselves. Yeah. And to speak that kindly to ourselves. Because you can feel it. You can feel it when somebody's speaking a divine truth, can't you? You can feel it. You can sense it. Yeah. And the other part of that, this message, is that is the people that are around you, right? That are in your circle of friendships. Is that, are there some people within your circle that either aren't truthful with you, or maybe they're not supporting your truth? Which means that you're on a different energy, right? And they're saying and what she's saying is that you have the opportunity to be truthful about it and to let them go. Doesn't mean that you have to be angry about it or anything like that. It just means that you can step away. You can still be kind to them. You can still be nice to them. You can still say hello to them, but they're not exactly in your inner circle, right? And that's okay. That's all right, because they are going to be in someone else's inner circle. It's not like they're going to be alone. They just have to find where they fit. And maybe that's more of the truth, right? They just have to find where they fit, or you have to find where you fit. Yeah. And there's the truth, right? Yeah. And when I talk about speaking it with kindness as much as you can, as best you can, that comes from experience. It comes from experience. Being this triple Sagittarian, blunt is a word that has been used. Straightforward is like, wow, tell me how you really feel. Yeah, and there's a way to be able to express it and still be truthful, but you don't have to be unkind, right? Yeah. I learned that one. You should have seen me in my 20s. That wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have recognized me in my 20s. Marie, yay. She says, have been loving the magazine. Yay. I'm so happy. I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you are. You know, there's a lot of good stuff that's being shared in the magazine. Yeah, talk about truth. You know, a lot of our writers, contributing writers, they're sharing their experience and their wisdom. Some of them, you know, laying their heart open to share and to be able to deliver a message, right? Their message. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, so that's the arrow. Arrow. So where you aim your words, right? And have the courage to have the truth with those words. All right, so here's the second card that came along with that, and that's Sundance. And we've had Sundance card at least once in the last week. Sundance. It's about self-sacrifice. And for those who may not know about Sundance, Sundance is one of the 7 gifts that were given to the Oshetty Sakoin, and they are the Great Sioux Nation. And the Sundance is the culmination of the seven gifts. All the 6 previous all build up to prepare the person for Sundance. And that in that preparation, it could take quite a while because they're in that preparation. They have to release a lot of stuff. They have to do a lot of healing, and finding, remembering their intuition, and some would say their female side, right? Their female side. That nurturing, that compassion, that side. And sometimes it takes a while for that to happen, Yeah. And so there again, we're talking about the balance between the male and female energies, right? And when when they actually make it to Sundance, first of all, they have to be invited, right? They have to have a sponsor. They have to have somebody who's willing to attest, to bear witness for them that they've done their work, that they have been their words and their behavior match. Because to be able to go in to dance at Sundance, it's very physically challenging, mentally challenging, emotionally challenging, and spiritually challenging. And yeah, when there's a round circle cleared, right? And in the center of that circle, the dance circle, is a tree is cut and brought in. It's a holy tree. There's ceremony done around the tree before it's even cut, and it is brought in, and it's placed in the center of the circle, and it is the tree of life. That's what it represents. It's the axis mundi, right? And male dancers, are pierced. They're pierced right around here, right? And I think it's cherry wood, but any wood all is used, and they're strapped to the tree, attached to the piercing. Yeah, and so they dance. They dance for 3 days under the sun, on the grandfather's son. Many times there's an arbor built, so there's a little shade. Now, I haven't actually experienced Sundance. I haven't been out there, but Sundance is now happening all across the United States. It's just not in certain reservations of the Lakota or the Dakota or Nakota. It's happening all across the United States, but I haven't experienced one. I know people who have. And even after the Sundance is done, because at the very end, what happens is the where the piercing was, where the tether was put, is broken, right? And so that flesh is ripped, and so they have physical healing to do. But they're dancing, they're praying for the people. They're not praying for themselves. They're praying for the people. And what blood is shed is shed to Grandmother Earth, literally. And it's a self-sacrifice for the people, so that the people will have a good life, right? And it's just not, we're going to expand this, okay? Because originally it was just for the Osheti Sakoi, the Great Sioux Nation. And some years ago, Orville Looking Horse, he is the 19th generation carrier of the White Buffalo Calf Bundle, and he gave permission for other Sundances to occur, okay? Now, in that expansion of this, we can add that it's just not for Native people. It's for all people that Sundance is done for. All the two-leggeds. Doesn't matter whether you live in the United States or across the world. It's for all people. It's serious. It's serious. It's a commitment to make, to do the other 6 gifts. So you go on a vision quest, Humblecha, you become a pipe carrier, you learn how to use a pipe. There's steps to build up to the Sundance. And even after Sundance is done, right, the dancers aren't completely done. They're living their life in a certain way. They're walking a holy path. And so it's no small thing, and it's nothing to decide on a whim that you're going to do this, right? It's intense. It's very intense. This is the poem that Jamie Sams writes about Sundance. She says, Sundance, within the sacred arbor, the warriors dance the sun, tied to the tree of life until the dancing's done. Feel the pain of women so the people may live, seeking medicine visions as of their pain they give. The traditional Sundance is a sacred ceremony or ritual that allows warriors the right to give of their pain, of their blood, of their prayers, and of themselves, sacrificing for the good of all people. The Sundance is usually held once a year by each tribe. It's a 4-day ceremony that honors the 4 directions and the sacred tree of life, and gives the warriors an opportunity to prove their worthiness to be the protectors of the people. So the Sundance is a way, because they have to have stamina and they have to have courage, right? And what is courage? Courage is speaking from your heart, your truth from your heart. So she says that the stamina and courage that it takes to dance without food or water for 4 days is a true test of the fabric and character of the dancer. The months of preparation before Sundance includes fasting, vision questing, purification ceremonies, dog soldier training, and much personal prayer. In past times, if a warrior received a vision during Sundance, it was considered to be good medicine. The Sundance is in operation again, and the spirit of our people has been restored. When the sacred rights of spirituality of any people are taken from them, the spirit of life can wane. Now, there was at one time the federal government forbid Sundance to occur for a lot of reasons. They thought it was barbarian to tether somebody to a tree. They didn't understand it, and then those that did understand or got the at least a limited understanding of it realized that this ceremony actually gives these people strength, and they were trying to break the Native American, right? And so why allow them to do a ceremony that's going to give them strength? So it was outlawed. You couldn't practice your own religion. Now, people were still doing it, but it wasn't exactly for public consumption, right? Yeah. And if they were caught doing it, they could easily be killed for it. So there was a time when there weren't that many Sundancers. Yeah. She says that the Sundance is not for everyone to experience, but the lessons learned are a beautiful way to understand the balance between male and female, courage and pain, vision and stubbornness, and loyalty and love. To sacrifice of oneself is to bring a knowing that the sacrificer is loyal to the people. This ancient ritual is considered a strong act of love. It teaches us how to walk in balance and let go of the parts of ourselves that are only interested in the personal I. And so the Sundance card asks us to look at what needs to be sacrificed so that the sacredness of our lives may be restored. It could be that doubt or fear are trailing our dreams and need to be sacrificed so that our dreams may live. On the other hand, it is if some bad habit has limited our capability, that habit needs to be conquered. Recklessness and overindulgence can thwart the abundant life we seek if we do not rid those parts of ourselves that represent our shadow. Your shadow is always ready to be sacrificed. If you have learned from dancing with the darkness of ignorance, you will learn what is no longer sacred in your life. Then the sacrifice becomes your truth. If you use less paper in order to save the rainforest, you make them sacred. In all instances, you are being asked to give up something in order to stand in the truth of your convictions. Remember, self-sacrifice is not denying your needs, but rather the self's decision to willingly sacrifice limitation through action. Interesting that these two cards would come together today for us, right? So here we go. Here are the two together. Okay? Two together. So the arrow is all about truth as protection. And the Sundance is also about truth. It's when we sacrifice that part of us, that shadow part of us, because we've learned whatever lesson we were supposed to learn from it. And when we let it go, we become more aware of our own truth. You know, they mentioned the dark night of the soul, right? So, and I'm sure, looking at the names that are in the chat, that there are many of us here today that have experienced that dark night of the soul. And so we all know that when you come on the out of the other side of it, right? You've done what you had to do to move through it, to learn all the aspects that you were supposed to learn through it. And when you come out on the other side of it, you're a different person. You're more the real you than you have been in a long, long time. And so you know your own truth. You know your own heart is what I'm trying to say. The parts of you that you let go of were really a mask holding you back. Yeah. And to go through the kind of healings that some of us had to go through to get there, those were life-changing healings. And so now you remember who you are in your own truth. And so in a way, I understand that as a protection. And sacrificing that part of you that was holding you back, letting it go, even though it was holding you back, it really taught you a lot, right? And where does it come in that, with the Sundance, it's for all the people, prayers for all the people to have a good life. And so when we step into our real selves and our own truth, yeah, we're able, there we go again, we're able to access and know more about our gifts that we came in with. And we trust ourselves, our intuition, a heck of a lot more. And so we can actually be of greater service just by using our gifts, and nothing more than that. It's huge. And I think that the part where you get to really know yourself, who you really are, when you're coming closer and closer to that vibration of you that you came in with, right? Yeah, and actually, you're a lot happier too. You're a lot happier. It takes so much energy to keep that facade up, the mask up, right? It takes so much energy to do that, when you could be using that energy using your gifts. And when you're using your gifts, you're so much happier than you are when you're trying to hold the mask in place. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Arrow and Sundance. Has anybody in the chat experienced Sundance as a witness, or even as a dancer for that matter? Because that's, I would like to at least be a witness, to be able to be in prayer for those that are dancing. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, someday that'll happen. All righty, let's see. Rochelle has a comment here. She said, I would love to see you dance with your pretty dress. My medicine dress? Yeah, that can happen. It's easy enough to do. You just have to come here. Yeah, we can do that. You'll just have to be here though. Maybe I'll use it during, maybe at the November class for um, Journey to Remembering. I think that's what I'm calling it. And it's all about activating your Merkaba and learning, or remembering, I should say, remembering how to be in your heart, how to live your life from your heart. Yeah. That balance between head and heart. That's what that class is all about. And so maybe in November we could do that, Rochelle. Oh, yeah, I'll get the dress out of the closet, and I haven't used it in a while. In a long while, actually. So, just checking to see. Okay. Go. Close that up. We're near the top of the hour. So, whatever resonated with you with these two cards, my suggestion is to embrace it and then watch and see how the energy of today unfolds for you and where this information could be helpful to you, right? Yeah, sometimes when we're reflecting, I guess is a good word, reflecting on our own personal truth, right? Yeah, sometimes it's that part of us that is kind of hard to look at. But when you do, it's not as overwhelming as you think it is. It's so much easier to tell you the truth. It is so much easier to speak your truth than it is not to. Because when you're not, you're hedging and you're trying to, dance around the subject a bit, and that takes a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And to have the courage to speak your truth, that's okay. That means that you're speaking from your heart, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I can tell you one thing is that when you're sharing your truth from your heart, the other person that you think that might have, you might end up in a conflict with, when you're speaking from your heart, they can sense that. And the chances of an actual conflict occurring is pretty low. Yeah, because what they're going to do is they're going to go away and they're going to think about what you said. Yeah. And then that sometimes leads to another conversation, but that's good. I think that's good. Rochelle saying, that's okay, interested in the class. Well, good. I'm glad for that. All right. Well, we got some stuff coming up for you guys in this coming week. Hang on, let me get my notes up. Yeah, here we are. Got to get my notes up because we got a few classes. Yeah, we have classes coming up too, but I was talking about live stream shows. Chakra Sessions with Polly Jola Bay. She's on Tuesday, April 23rd at noon Eastern time. She's going to be talking about limiting beliefs of restricted flow. Doesn't it sound interesting? That's about limiting beliefs, limit our energy flow and possibilities. It's about by changing our thoughts and challenging the energy of things that no longer work in our lives. Ooh, we get to look at that one. That should be good. I'll be in the chat for that one. And then on Tuesday night, on the 23rd, is my weekly show, my evening show, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's Communications from Home. And what we're going to be talking about are numbers. The title of it's Let's Talk Numbers. It's about seeing those triple numbers, those sequence of numbers, and what they could mean. Those synchronicities and those messages that that spirit, your spiritual team is trying to get to you. And so that's the discussion. That's the chat that we're going to have on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday at 7 p.m. is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. That's an evening of healing and divine messages. If you like the card draw, you know, she oh my God, she does the information she shares on that is wow. Now last week, you know, that we had a little bit of technical difficulty, right? And having to kind of switch gears a bit between using Be Live and her doing a native live stream. She still drew 57 cards last week. That's a lot of cards. And but the information she shares is really, really good. So, and then at 4 p.m. on Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. And Maureen is talking about living your life purpose and with Archangel Nathaniel. Now, I don't know Archangel Nathaniel that well. Okay, so I'm going to be in the chat for that. And she says that when we talk, when she says, when I talk about Archangel Nathaniel, who helps us fast track our life to live our life purpose with ease, I'll be doing live readings. And for those who request them, so tune in and get some angelic guidance. So if you want to do some angel card readings with Maureen on Thursday. Thursday night is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin and myself. We're going to be talking about living in two worlds, the physical world and also the spiritual world. And we get a special announcement on Thursday too. I think you guys are going to be happy with it. Yeah. And one other thing that's not on my list here is that on Monday, Earth Day, the 22nd, at 7 p.m. Central, that'd be 8 Eastern, is the social media launch of Madonna DePaulo's newest book. It's a children's book, and it's called The Sound Weavers. And Star Nations is the publisher for that book. And so Madonna is going to be joining me on her fan page for her book, and we're going to be having a chat. We're going to be celebrating the publishing of her book, and she's got gifts to give away, and she's got a special going for author-signed books. And so come and join us. Come and party with us. You know, it's all about whales and dolphins and how we are here to help each other. That's a good one. And through a children's book. So come and join us Monday, 8 p.m. at the Sound Weavers fan page. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And tomorrow is Easter. So we're going to be taking tomorrow off from the daily live stream. And so I'll see you back here on Monday. Okay. 3 p.m. Monday for the daily live stream and the group card draw. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.